Welcome back to Delaware Perspective. You know, before March 23rd of 2009, there was no place in Delaware for individuals with psychiatric disorders to meet, learn from each other, share resources, information, really no such support system or place where they could just walk in and get the help they need. Well, there is a place called the Rick Vanstory Resource Center. Again, it opened in March of 2009, and we want to talk about that this morning. And joining me to discuss it is Alan Conover, who is the Executive Director of the Rick Vanstory Resource Center, and also Emily McNair, who is with Horizon House, which has been around much longer, obviously, since the 1950s, to help also people with such disabilities. But Alan, I'll start with you. As Executive Director of the Rick Vanstory Resource Center, what type of people do you see coming in the doors looking for the type of support that you provide?
We see people that coming in that just need somebody to talk to a lot of times. Just some, I like to call it moral support, people that have been there and done that, whatever part of the recovery process they're in. And that's what people seem to come in for.
We're talking about people that with mental health
mental health issues or substance abuse issues. They both types of people come into the Rick Vanstory Center. Some people looking at what stage of the recovery they're in. Or some are looking for jobs, some are just need something to do during the day, and something in a safe environment. And that's what the Rick Vanstory Center provides.
And Emily, being with the Horizon House, which again has been around since the 1950s, what do you think is the biggest need that these various people who come in looking for these types of support systems, what do you think is the biggest need that is provided through the Rick Vanstory and through Horizon House?
I think Horizon House provides a lot of the sort of clinical, residential, vocational supports that people need to build a life, but I think the most valuable aspect of peer support is truly that sense of hope that people can get by meeting people who are in recovery. No matter what point they're at individually, at that point it may be hard to imagine a better future for themselves, a future where they've learned to cope with the symptoms of their mental illness, or where they've gotten the right combination of treatment supports. But by meeting people who have sort of been there and done that, like Alan said, it really shows you a living, breathing example. Recovery isn't just something that people are talking about. It's something that you can do, and that you have strengths, you have the ability to live a life in recovery.
And when we talk about people with disabilities or mental health issues, we have this idea that there's this, some of them are institutionalized or in that type of process or system. But there are a lot of people who are at home or wherever who again just need someone to talk to or someone to say that I empathize with what you're going through. Right.
I think the best way to put that is most are home. Very few are inside the hospitals, and that's without speaking for Horizon House. Horizon House is like a hospital without walls. They provide the treatment, and we provide the resources in the community, which is thus the name, job searching, clothing, the basic necessities of life, because not everybody gets disability, but has a disability. It depends on what stage of the recovery process they're in.
How tough is it to try and find some type of employment for a person who's undergoing the type of situation that you see every day there?
It's hard, but it seems to be getting easier as different companies are seeing that, that some of these people are the best workers that they've ever had.
And you do accept walk-ins. I mean, someone could just walk in through the door and say,
we do accept walk-ins, and we find that niche of social work where they're at. Some people don't have a provider to come in, and we tried to see if they're suitable for any of the providers that are in Delaware. It's not just Horizon House. We have Horizon House connections and many others. So somewhere they fit in that niche of social work.
Well, I mean, what would you suggest to people, someone who might be watching, who might say, this is a place that I might need, this is a place that I might need to get in touch with? And again, we're showing the websites and the phone numbers throughout the segment on our television screen. What would you recommend to people who might have this need that needs to be filled?
I'd encourage them to reach out to the Rick Vanstory Resource Center. It also depends on what exactly you're looking for. If you're looking to receive services yourself, you might want to go through state channels or through a more formal provider. But for instance, if you have a loved one or a friend or a family member who's experiencing mental health or substance abuse issues. You can reach out to support groups. A place like the Rick Vanstory Resource Center can help you get linked in. Horizon House Delaware could help you get linked in. But I would also encourage people who are just interested in having an impact and making a difference in people's lives to volunteer their skills, volunteer your time. So much of what people face is the stigma, the belief that people with mental health issues are dangerous somehow, or they don't deserve to be a part of society. And a big part of what the Rick Vanstory Resource Center and peer support in general, as well as providers like Horizon House, Connections, et cetera, are doing, are trying to break down that stigma. To help people build the skills to show, you know what, I'm just as much a part of this community, and our community is made stronger by all of us being a part of it.
Now, you're in Wilmington, and you just moved into a brand new facility, a bigger facility on Shipley Street, right?
Yes.
And how big a facility? How many people?
We're 3,000 square feet facility, so
Okay.
I mean, we pretty much can suit and handle the needs. I mean, of everybody's coming in so far. Our numbers have increased by quite a lot. We have, our attendance is 400 plus a week. We're open 7 days a week. We try to suit the needs. In the winter hours, we'll be open a lot more, especially earlier mornings, because that's when the only shelter that's available in Wilmington, the men's shelter, closes and leaves. Everybody has to leave at 5:30 a.m. So our goal is to pick up the slack where others, so nobody falls through the cracks. Nobody has to go through that.
And what is the most gratifying part of all of this for you?
We were just talking
I'm
about
sure
this today.
yeah, there must be, I'm sure there's various levels of satisfaction in being a part of this program. What would you say is the most gratifying?
Seeing somebody move on with their life, and you know, they were at their lowest point, and to see them at their highest point is the best part of my job. That's why I do it every day. That's nothing else can top that. When they come back and still volunteer, and they have a job, and they have an apartment, and they still want to volunteer at the center, that's the highlight of my life, if nothing else.
Same with you, Emily?
I would have to say so.
Yeah. And the most challenging, I think, is it just kind of like Emily mentioned, just kind of shattering the stigma of these people not being hireable, you know, not being, you know, contributing members to society?
That would probably be the lowest. That's the hardest thing to do, is me being a consumer, getting somebody to take a chance on us. That's something Horizon House did. That's why the partnership, and my hope, we will always be an affiliate of Horizon House, just because they took the chance of this idea in Delaware. They do have one in Chester County, but we're quite different. We, I mean, everything about us is different. They took that chance.
The Rick Vanstory Resource Center, and you said it's open 7 days a week.
Open 7 days a week. The only thing that is open in the city of Wilmington 7 days a week.
But it is definitely serving a need, and I thank you for coming in and talking to us about it.
Thank
Once
you.
again, if you want to contact them, the phone number has been on your screen, the website, as well as the Horizon House. So, Alan, thank you very much. Emily, thank you very much. And we'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back with more Delaware Perspective. Stay with us.